before we get into the predictions, we hit 100 likes in the last 4 card prediction video, so I'll be dropping bets in this video. But firstly, I showed bets in my last video, and I was not impressed with my performance. I went 1-4 of my bets I showed in the last video, so I'm gonna be trying to clean it up for this video, and I'll be shortly dropping my predictions in the next 20-30 seconds for this card and maybe future cards. But yeah, I'll be dropping those bets. Probably do maybe about 3-4, maybe 2-4 bets, but drop those again shortly, 20 seconds. But yeah, get this video to 100 likes, and I'll continue to drop, every week. Get it to 100 likes, I'll drop predictions on the next card. So just tune in, like the video, and I'll continue to drop bets as well, in the beginning of the videos. But that's really about it. So we went 1-4 last time. I'm gonna try cleaning up this time. Get this video to 100 likes, and I'll drop bets on the next 4 card prediction video. And last but not least, I'm not there yet. But before I get to the last but not least, another important thing: if any of these fights fall through or fights have changed, as it often happens with these cards, check the description, check the comment section. I'll probably drop. It's not even probably. I will, if a fight does fall through or change up, I will post the prediction like in a short form, a video linked to this video, like in the description and in the comment section. So be on the lookout for this. So don't be like, where's that? Where's that? It will be in the description and it will be in the comment section. So you won't have to look very hard. It'll be right in this video. But yeah, and I'll have a link to a full-on video. So yeah, make it very easy for you guys if you guys want to stay up to date with my predictions for all the fights on the UFC cards. But yeah, so you guys got it to 100 likes the last video. So again, last but not least, I keep saying predictions, but last but not least, my bets. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm gonna drop my bets right here. So here are the bets. So those are the bets. Let's get on to the predictions. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the 4 card fights for UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Imavov. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Al-Sawadi, Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi versus Balaji Oki. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi. Yeah, that's his full name. But yeah. But yeah, I'm going low confidence Balaji Oki to beat Al-Sawadi. I definitely would have liked Oki a lot more if he wasn't coming off a loss here. If they were fighting in a different area, I definitely would like him a lot more. But low confidence is good enough. He's coming off a loss. He's not in friendly territory. Well, he's not in favorable territory. It's not like they got enemies against him over there. But they definitely favored Muslim and Russian and Arabic fighters over there more so, the Africans and other stuff and Americans over there. But yeah, so Wadi does seem to have be pretty chinny, and the stupid flies want to be on camera. But yeah, so Wadi does seem to be pretty chinny. I think he's probably the better grappler. I think Oki has decent takedown defense and decent grappling awareness. And I think he'll make the adjustment for his last fight. But again, I don't feel like Sawadi's such a great offensive wrestler or such a great submission threat. So I feel like Oki can address the grappling. I think Oki's the much sharper striker and definitely more lethal on the feet. And Sawadi does seem to be chinny. So in this one, I'm leaning more so Balaji Oki, like a first-round knockout over Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi. I think he'll be able to address the grappling. Be quick, be powerful, throwing combinations to be able to catch Sawadi with his chin in the air and put him out late first round. So I'm all discombobulated. I feel like I haven't done this in a while, but I guess it has been like 2 weeks now. But yeah, it is what it is. Y'all understand. We getting back in the groove. Balaji Oki, first round knockout. Now to our next one. We have in the heavyweight division, we got Hamdi Abdelwahab versus Jamal Pogues. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Hamdi Abdelwahab to beat Jamal Pogues. I'm not gonna be all talking too much about all this stuff too much. But Pogues, he's a solid fighter. Definitely he's the more technical fighter. He's obviously the more experienced fighter. But I feel like Pogues, he's not a big puncher. He's more technical, but I don't feel like his volume is all that crazy. I don't feel like his accuracy is all that crazy. Um, and yeah, he don't got great cardio, don't got great power, don't got great volume, but he is more technical. All his fights, no matter who he seems to be fighting at this level, seem to be very close fights. And I feel like Hamdi Abdelwahab, given where they're at, the judges are going to be favoring him. He does bring the intensity. He might not be the most skilled or experienced fighter just yet, but he's skilled enough. He has a solid wrestling background. He was an Olympian. I say he was no Olympic champion or nothing, but he was Olympian. So he does have some credible skills. You can't just get there with just cause like you got to actually earn your spot in the Olympics. So he's a solid guy, solid wrestling skills. You know, he got the fight in him. Again, he might be very raw, but he does bring the intensity, and that might be all you need against Pogues. I'm not saying, I mean, it'll be enough. I think it'll be a close fight regardless. But I think Hamdi will be able to push Pogues, be able to outwork Pogues, and I think that will be enough for him to get his hand raised on friendly soil. I think he'll be able to push the pace on Pogues. Pogues gonna keep it close regardless. That's how he fights. Like he's not a guy that's blowing anyone out of the water, not really landing no big significant shots, not really doubling no one up in strikes, not making people miss so much, not really doing a whole lot. And I see a lot of these fights he wins or loses. He be down like 7 significant strikes. That's just not a good trend for him. I think Hamdi will be able to outwork him, land the heavier shot, throw the heavier shots. Pogues might land the cleaner, flusher shots, but again, not with a lot of oomph behind them to even make them so much more significant. Because cool, you landed flusher, but did you land hard? Did it do anything really? And I feel like Pogues probably not gonna have too many of those shots landed like that. And he typically fades down the stretch. And I feel like overall, Hamdi just gonna be the one. He's gonna be the aggressor, trying to throw the shots, throwing with heat. Probably the one looking for takedowns as well. And that's gonna be enough to get his hand raised over Jamal Pogues. So in this one, I have Hamdi Abdelwahab via decision. Now to our next one, we have in the featherweight division, we got Bogdan Grad, versus. Let me see, make sure I'm recording. Yeah. Bogdan Grad versus Lucas Alexander in featherweight division. And another fight, I'm just not gonna beat around the bush like, oh my gosh, it's this, it's that, in the third. Bogdan Grad has momentum. Lucas Alexander has momentum in the other direction. Like he's downtrending. Grad is coming up. I don't feel like Grad really won his last fight, but it was close and competitive enough. He did what he had to do. Lucas Alexander, I think, how many losses he come off? I think he come off one loss. He got knocked out by a mediocre fighter. But again, all my reason to lean Bogdan Grad, low confidence, not no average, not no high, not no lock, low confidence. Most likely he's going to leave this one completely alone, Bogdan Grad, because he had momentum. He's a good well-rounded fighter. Nothing special about his striking. Nothing special about the way he looks. Nothing special about his wrestling, his strength, his power, his IQ. I just think he's a experienced fighter who's well-rounded and well-seasoned. But outside of that, not really nothing particularly stand out about him. Lucas Alexander, I feel like he has more talent, but seems to be a choke artist. And again, going to go with a guy that does have momentum, a guy that does seem to have the better fight IQ. Might not be so exceptional, but he seems like he's good enough. And Alexander seems like, again, an inconsistent kind of choke artist type fighter. Go Bogdan Grad just to make the better decisions out there. Be well-rounded, be clean. Probably outwork him a little bit, mix it up when he needs to mix it up, and outgrind Lucas Alexander to a decision. Probably going to be a fun fight, but yeah, I'm not particularly high on either guy. I just think Bogdan Grad, again, better fight IQ, more, I'm not going to say more well-rounded, but better fight IQ, well-rounded, and really, again, fight IQ and well-rounded. Lucas Alexander got well-rounded skills for the most part, but bad momentum and bad IQ. So going Bogdan Grad here to get a decision victory over Lucas Alexander. So in this one, I have Bogdan Grad via decision. Now to our next fight. We have in the women's flyweight division, we got Jasmine Jasudavicus versus Mayra Bueno Silva. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jasmine Jasudavicus to beat Mayra Bueno Silva. So I'm definitely not going to be someone counting out Mayra Bueno Silva. She's actually a younger fighter by like 2 years. She's a very dangerous fighter on the feet and especially on the ground. And I feel like Jasmine Jasudavicus has not fought a fighter like Mayra Bueno Silva. And I also feel like Jasmine Jasudavicus has not really fought yet to the level that Mayra Bueno Silva has been fighting on. Mayra Bueno Silva has, fought for belt, lost, came up short. She fought for number one contender fight, I think at this weight before she moved up, or at least a fighter who's in position to fight for a belt now at one point. But either way, yeah, it's a tough matchup. I do feel like While ultimately I'm going to lean Jasudavicus is, again, well, not again, but one reason, momentum. That's a good reason. The other reason, I feel like Mayra Silva, once she kind of gives her efforts, I feel like a lot of times she does accept the bottom position. She doesn't really conserve her cardio well. Like, she'll go for the submission, she'll go aggressive. And when she does get taken out, her takedown offense is not that good. She doesn't really be so aggressive to get back to the field. Like, she'll chase us up. If it don't work, like, she'll spend a lot of time on bottom. And I feel like Jasudavicus can extend her out of the first round, which probably going to be a rough round. And eventually start to get Mayra Silva down to the ground. And shut down her submission game and control her on top, drop some good ground and pound, and beat Mayra Silva to a decision victory. But I do see this as a very close fight. I think Mayra Silva is going to have a probably a strong first round. But Jasudavicus is probably going to start to get her down into not gonna say like a minute, I'm gonna say like a quarter into the second round. She's probably going to get her down, and then that's when the fight going to start to shift. And Jasudavicus is going to have her success. The third round probably another close round, but then Jasudavicus is probably going to get the takedown and edge the round ever so slightly. But I see this fight going decision. I see it being very close. Jasudavicus is definitely having, I guess, the seemingly clearer path and the more control time. But again, I just see Jasudavicus just being more effective, basically, in getting those takedowns, getting those control time. And Silva largely allowing it, almost like spending too much time on her back, and I either have an energy, the skill, or urgency, or maybe just not the combination of all three of those factors she needs to get back to her feet. And Jasudavicus capitalizing on that and getting a decision victory over Mayra Silva. So in this one, I have Jasudavicus via decision. Now to our next one, we have in the lightweight division, we got Ziam versus Mike Davis. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Mike Davis to beat Ziam. Ziam's a beast. He's coming along well, but I do think Mike Davis is more around. I think Mike Davis is definitely a much better wrestler here. Ziam is definitely getting better on his offensive wrestling and his defensive wrestler. I said wrestler, but the defensive wrestling. But I think Mike Davis is a much better wrestler. I think Mike Davis is a solid striker. Definitely has more power between the two. I do think Ziam and pure striking is the better striker. But as far as like trend wise, who has the skill set to better take advantage of the other, and basically based on historic, Ziam has dropped a couple losses to getting out grappled in the past, or particularly out wrestled. And Davis does have that wrestling background. He does have the skills there, and also his grappling, submission grappling skills are improving a lot as well. Ziam's not really no big submission threat. He's definitely not a Gilbert Burns, like when Gilbert Burns submitted Davis. But basically I just feel like I would say Beast Boy. I would say his nickname. Basically, I feel like Mike Davis can better take advantage of Ziam's weaknesses. I feel like both of them normally have phenomenal cardio. I feel like Ziam, like in a competitive fight, Ziam typically kind of slows down in later round. Mike Davis kind of slows down in later round. But I feel like Mike Davis can touch him with more heat early, set up the takedown, get him to the ground, build up control time, and then maybe just use his footwork down the stretch and keep Ziam honest with the threat of a big power strike in the threat of the level change to set up a takedown. And he can play with that a little bit, like in the third round. Probably gonna be a close pivotal third round. But I think Davis probably gonna be able to land a big shot, level change, drag him to the mat, and end the round on top and win a probably like 29-28 decision against Ziam, or maybe a split decision against Ziam. But yeah, I think Davis wrestling will be a big factor here. His speed, athleticism, and his ability to blend, his power strikes with his level change and his takedown will, keep Ziam kind of maybe, playing player B, being on the reactive instead of the active. And Davis will be able to exploit that, get a decision, a close decision, competitive decision. Two very talented fighters, coming into their own. But I think Mike Davis is the fighter better able to take advantage of his opponent's weakness and our weaknesses, our weaker areas, and get a decision victory. So in this one, I have Mike Davis via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, we got Terrence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going average confidence, Terrence McKinney to beat Damir Hadzovic. Yeah, McKinney is definitely not a trustworthy guy by any means. By any means, this guy is not trustworthy. But I think he's trustworthy enough for me to give him average confidence here against Damir Hadzovic. McKinney took a lot of L's and whatnot. But when you look at who he really loses to, most guys, or if not all the guys he loses to, are still very much relevant. Like Sean Woodson, he's a very relevant featherweight right now and has been for a good minute. Sean Woodson. I think what guy that's most recently knocked him out just got off a big win. But basically, you get what I'm saying. Most people he's beating, he's not losing to old, washed up, he's not losing to old, washed up, have never beens. He's losing to guys like young prospects like himself, or young future contenders, young contenders like himself. He's not losing to guys that, you know, have never been like Damir Hadzovic, and also has had a historically hard time with anyone that wanted to grapple with him. Damir Hadzovic has had a hard time. Maybe like once or twice he got landed some lucky shot or something against some guys, but most of those again were like 5-6 years ago. And for the most part, he's been a guy that has been like a really low tier lightweight that's kind of hanging around in the UFC, mostly just inactive. And yeah, I think Terrence McKinney should be able to beat a fighter like this, and I think he should be able to go out there and have a Terrence McKinney performance. So I think Terrence McKinney gets him out in the first round. Probably club and sub. You know, play the love a little bit. Come over top, hurt him. Transition to the ground. Whether he drops him and subs him or whether he cracks him and then level changes and drags him to the mat. I think it's going to end up on the mat, but I think he will crack him first. Drag him to the mat. Take his back. Pound him out. Sneak in the rear naked choke and tap him out in the first round. So, in this one, I have Terrence McKinney via first round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, we got Shamil Gaziev. What language are you speaking? I don't know. Shamil Gaziev versus Thomas Peterson in the heavyweight division. How do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Shamil Gaziev to beat Thomas Peterson. And again, you gotta consider the reason. Like, you see kind of like a Russian adjacent fighter. Why can I speak no? I'm saying Adesanya. Yeah, I feel like I haven't made a video in a while, even though I don't feel like it was that long ago. But I'm talking like I haven't made a video in 3 years. But it is what it is. But yeah, you gotta consider the region. Consider the ethnicity. I'm pretty sure he's Muslim as well, so they're definitely gonna be favoring him a lot. And even besides that point, I do think that Gaziev is a overall better fighter than Thomas Peterson. Peterson was 6'1", Gaziev is like 6'4", bigger, longer, taller, better wrestler, more lethal striker. And then again, you gotta throw in the fact that where are they fighting? If it does get to kind of like a close, controversial decision, who's it going to? Most likely, 90% chance it will go to Shamil Gaziev. For the region they're in, for the even already politics in the weight class, like Gaziev is supposed to be one of the guys to look out for in the weight class. Not to say he's going to be a future champion, but a guy that's probably going to maybe hold a top 10 rank for some time. You know, within that rank, going to be at the high end or the low end. Probably going to hold it for like 4 or 5 years. That's probably what, at least that probably was in his future. With Thomas Peterson, like, seeming like a here and gone. Kind of like a low tier, maybe like a Chase Sherman tier fighter, maybe. Or maybe a little bit above that. So you got the politics of where they're at and his religion and his race, ethnicity going on. And how it's been a very strong recent history and trend of them to favor their fighters, even in fights that they shouldn't win. There's been a very recent trend of that. And then already the politics that already exists and just their statuses in the league, regardless of where they're fighting. But yeah, that's the politics of it. But again, focusing on stat wise, yeah, Gaziev is bigger, more of a finisher, better wrestler. You know, I think he showed he had a pretty good chin in his last fight. And again, Peterson hasn't really shown no big power. I think Gaziev will be able to control the wrestling. I think he'll be able to bully Peterson in clinch, land knees, land elbows, crack him with some big shots. And I think he puts Peterson away mid to late second round via TKO. Well, I'm going to say early to mid second round TKO. I don't feel like Gaziev has the greatest gas tank. But I feel like he'll be a little bit more conservative here and not maybe rush to finish so he don't want to gas himself out and go through that again. He's going to have work on his conditioning. He's going to work on his approach. Break down Peterson smart. Pick his shots well. Land the harder shots on Peterson. Corral Peterson. Clinch him up. Put him in his cage. Punch him in the body. Knee him to the body. Elbows up top. Break him down over the course of like a round. The first round. And put him away early to mid second round via TKO. So in this one, I have Shamil Gaziev via second round TKO. All right. Let's see how many more we got left. All right. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, we got Muhammad Naimov versus Khan Ofli. And how do I feel about this one right here? is I'm going average confidence Muhammad Naimov to beat Khan Ofli. And there's a slim kind of scare like that. Ofli is a pretty well-rounded fighter. He's talented enough, and he does maybe have the better submission game, maybe. But yeah, I don't think Khan Ofli is nowhere near the level of talent that Naimov's last opponent was in Felipe Lima. Lima is a guy I feel it's not really even talking about the future. It's like almost like the now, like that Lima is going to be a player in the bantamweight weight class. He's an elite fighter, elite talent. And Naimov was really winning that fight. It was a close fight, but Naimov was really winning up to that point and probably on his way to a decision victory against, again, a very talented Felipe Lima. And then, again, one little window opportunity appeared, and Lima was able to take advantage of it, and he was able to take his back and get the submission. But yeah, that's a very elite fighter. But I feel like Khan Ofli is a decent fighter, but I feel like he's really, truly etched in UFC level. Or is he even going to be a guy that's going to be able to go far in the UFC? I don't see it. And Muhammad Naimov has already fought better fighters and beaten better fighters. Not like he just got here himself. He already picked up some really good wins on his resume. And I think Muhammad Naimov overall has fought much, much better competition, much more seasoned, especially at this level. I think he can control where the fight takes place. I think he's a better striker, better wrestler. Again, can control where the fight takes place with his wrestling. On feet, he definitely packs more power. He's definitely more durable. I feel like Ofli kind of chinny. But yeah, I think Muhammad Naimov is going to be the dress, control where the fight takes place, break Khan Ofli down. Especially doesn't help that Ofli is coming off a brutal knockout loss. And yeah, control where the fight takes place, control the tempo, break Khan Ofli down, and I see him knocking Ofli down. Knocking Ofli out. I'm not going to say knock, but I see him stopping Ofli via TKO mid to second round. So in this one, I have Muhammad Naimov via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Said Nurmagomedov to beat Vinicius Oliveira. And initially, I was going to go like low confidence Vinicius Oliveira. He was one of my favorite dogs on this card. But I know it's with the region they're fighting in. And again, as I've been saying this whole card, they definitely love Russians over here. They definitely love Muslims. I don't know his religion, but they definitely love Russians over here. He definitely love Nurmagomedov. They definitely love people that names in an OV. They definitely love that Russian flag, and they definitely love the Nurmagomedov. So, even though he's not directly linked to them, as far as they know and we know, but yeah, I could go side Nurmagomedov. I think it's gonna be a close fight regardless. But I think Nurmagomedov should be the better wrestler. He should be able to win the takedown battle, not by a whole lot, but enough. I think Vinicius Oliveira will be the more lethal striker, but I think Nurmagomedov will be the more consistent striker. I feel like Vinicius Oliveira has flashes and flares, but a lot of times he steps off the gas. He kind of gets complacent out there. Definitely his defense gets very lax. But I see a very, very competitive fight. Either way, initially I was leaning Vinicius Oliveira, saw it was a very close fight. Now I'm leaning side Nurmagomedov, very close fight. So I think he's going to distance. It's going to come down to very slim margins. But I think side Nurmagomedov is going to do just enough. Probably go either have all the takedowns, maybe like 2 takedowns to zip, or maybe like 2 takedowns to 1, maybe 3-1, 3-2. But it is a takedown battle slightly, whether he's the one with all the takedowns or he just has a little bit more takedowns, like maybe 1 more takedown. And he's be the one pressing the wrestling more. And I think he'll be the one consistently, engaging more. I feel like Vinicius is going to have his moments where he's going to be very aggressive. I feel like he's going to step off the gas at points. Inside of Magomedov going to be the one pressing more often. And all these things are going to be factors in a close fight that's going to result in Said Nurmagomedov getting his hand raised in a very close decision victory over Vinicius Oliveira. So, in this one, I have Said Nurmagomedov via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, we got Sergey Pavlovich versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jairzinho Rozenstruik to beat Sergey Pavlovich. And I can make this one short as well. I will prefer to make it short. We'll make this prediction short. But Sergey Pavlovich hasn't, at this level, in what he's been in UFC for like 5 years now, hasn't really shown really any offensive grappling at all, to be honest. He's shown defensive grappling, but he hasn't really shown offensive grappling. I think as far as right now, I think they both are 0% on takedowns. I think Pavlovich shot maybe like 1 or 2 takedowns or 3 takedowns in all, like 10 of his UFC fights. I think Jairzinho Rozenstruik shot like 1 or 2 takedowns, and again, like all 15 of his UFC fights. And they both went 0 of about however many they shot. They didn't shoot a whole lot, but the ones they did shot, they went 0 on. So they got 0% takedown accuracy on both sides. Jairzinho Rozenstruik is the only one with a true striking background. I think he's a much more fundamentally sound striker. He's not getting he's not getting Jairzinho coming off a loss like he did with Taia Tuivasa or Derek Lewis. He's getting Jairzinho coming off a win. And I think he might be riding a winning streak. Well, I mean, he would be regardless whether it's 1 win or 2 wins. But either way, he's not getting Jairzinho coming off a loss. And Pavlovich, if he had shown a trend of wrestling, yeah, maybe I would lean to him. And that would be the smart thing for him to do. But I think Jairzinho's wrestling defense is a little bit underrated. And Sergey, at this point, seems kind of a little bit late to try to shift your game plan. But hey, we'll see. But my confidence is still low regardless. But I think, yeah, Jairzinho is the much better striker, more fundamentally sound. I think he'll be able to pick apart Pavlovich with the jab. I don't think it's going to be a case of like, oh, he got to be so scared and afraid of Pavlovich in the first round. I think he could take advantage of Pavlovich over aggression. Pavlovich will come in and swing all wild. Jairzinho will be more than welcome to catch him with the check hook. You are not Francis Ngannou. You are not. You are not that man. Jairzinho will be able to jab him up all day. And also, Jairzinho fighting a little bit more reserved. Not saying that he did his fights tentative, but he fights, I guess, he's not chasing the counter as much. So he'll be able to move his feet and, touch him with the jab, touch him with the 2, mixing the check hook, but not so much be relying on the check hook and maybe building up into maybe the second round, mid to late second round. That's why I see him putting away Pavlov. I feel like first round, inside leg kicks, outside leg kicks, jab him up, walking him into the 2, tapping him with the check hook a little bit, just getting his range and feel for him, slamming teeps into his body. And Pavlovich just having issues trying to, landing clean and get into his shots. And Rozenstruik just being much sharper, much more cleaner, and the guy that actually has a kickboxing background and a accomplished kickboxing background on that. And Pavlovich just having an issue with that skill differential and getting frustrated. Then the second round, he just starts getting sloppier and sloppier, tries to swing and miss. He doesn't try to miss, but he will miss. He'll swing, big, miss. And that's when Rozenstruik, once he starts seeing that pattern and see that frustration, that's when he'll go for the kill. Be to touch Pavlovich on his temple or on the tip of his chin, rock him, press him, and put him out mid to late second round via TKO. So, in this one, I have Jairzinho Rozenstruik via second round TKO. Now to our next fight. We have in our co-main event in the middleweight division, we got Shara Magomedov versus Michael Page. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Shara Magomedov to beat Michael Page. And again, it comes down to the terror. Where are they fighting? They are literally like fighting in the only map Shara Magomedov can fight. Like you're in a video game, you're literally fighting this guy on his stage. And it's not like Michael Page is such a big finisher, especially if he's starting to push 40. He's always kind of been more of a point fighter. If the finish does materialize, he'll get it. Like it presents itself, he'll get it. But he's not a guy that's going to particularly chase a finish ever at any point in his career. And Shara himself is a solid striker. So they're both solid strikers. I think Michael Page is a better striker for sure. But also he's a smaller guy, career welterweight coming up to middleweight. Faster, sharper. But again, not a big finisher, especially at this point in his career. Again, a guy that's not going to really chase the finish. He's not really a big puncher. He's a sharp puncher, which, could be better or worse depending on who you're fighting against and like the style matchup. But yeah, either way, I kind of see if Michael Page wins this fight, he's going to go to this. I feel like Shara could get a stoppage. I'm not really predicting that for Shara, but I feel like a stoppage is more so on the line on Shara's side. But yeah, it's more on his side. Well, his side. But yeah, I see a close fight. Both guys, almost turn into a point karate at times. I think Shara's going to be the one more aggressive, trying to land bigger shots, maybe try to rip some body shots, throw some teeps to the body to, limited success. But, he's going to be one trying to diversify more. With Michael Page going to be fencing as he typically does, try to pull you in, land a big overhand, land a big straight down the middle, dart in, dart out. But a very close fight. Strike differential probably not going to be very far apart on either side. Also, Magomedov probably trying to pile up leg kicks as well. But again, a very close fight. Probably like a 5-strike differential after the fight is over. And but again, where are they fighting? They're fighting literally on Shara Magomedov's home mat, and they want him to win. They love that guy over there. So It goes to a close decision. Who are they going to give it to most likely? Magomedov. And how old is Michael Page? He's like 36, 37. And at this age, the stoppages really start to get less and less, especially for a guy who never really was a big finish chaser. So if it was there, it's there. But if it's not there, he's not going to get it. And also, he's up in weight. So it's a lot of different factors that you got to deal with. But ultimately, I kind of see a close striking matchup. If this was like a point fighting karate matchup, Michael Page easily. But this is MMA. They are on Magomedov's map. It's going to be close. Even if he does land 5 more strikes, he does, be more clinical, more technical. The strike total is close. It's a competitive fight. They're going to give it to Shara most likely. And I'm going to lean on that. And I think Magomedov gets it done by decision. So in this one, I got Magomedov via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the middleweight division, we got former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Nasruddin Imavov to beat Israel Adesanya. And firstly, with this one I will say is, in Adesanya's last 4 fights, I am 0-4. So take that for what you want to take that for. If you want to just counter predict me, cool, do that. I would be happy if Adesanya won. I'd be super happy if Adesanya. Matter of fact, I'd be happy if I pick against Adesanya the rest of his career and he won every single fight I picked against him. Like I picked against him the rest of his career and he won the rest of the fights. I'd be fine with that. My predictions, my career does not rest on one man's winning or losing at the end of the day. So I'd be cool. I like Adesanya. I would love him to win this fight, win his next fight, avenge the losses to Duplessis, Strickland, running back with beat Combs out, running back with Pereira, and finish career beating Pereira, and I guess beating him in the UFC, MMA as far as their trilogy. In kickboxing, what he went 0-2. In MMA, they're 1-1. But in the overall, he's 1-3. But maybe he could finish it 2-3. And as far as MMA, he'd be 2-1. That'd be a dope way in his career. He'd be a top 10 all-time fighter. That'd be dope. I would love that to happen. But at the end, that seemed like a fairy tale. He could definitely win this one. He's definitely the much more skilled, more experienced striker. But, 0-4 on my last picks for Adesanya. Yeah, just take that in. But got to go Imavov here, or Nasruddin Imavov here. Just seems like the more well-rounded fight. I know Adesanya trains to be very well-rounded, but how much of those skills does he actually use? Like, he might go for a takedown every 5 fights, and again, go for 1 takedown every 5 fights. That's not really a great use of your well-rounded skills. Imavov, we have seen him mix up his wrestling in, I would say, at least 60% of his fights, and even more so now. So he's mixing in the wrestling, mixing in the grappling. He'll try to look to maybe employ some of what Strickland had success with, like front foot boxing, keep Adesanya in the back foot, throwing combinations, big shots to the body, something that Strickland didn't really do, and try to keep Adesanya on the back foot and not allow him to, get his kicks off as much. Then also mixing the takedowns, another thing that's going to stunt some Adesanya striking. But I see this is a very, very close striking battle. I mean, I'm not going to say striking battle. It's an MMA fight. I see this a very close MMA fight. But I think Imavov will be the one definitely looking to mix the martial arts more. Adesanya definitely has a chance here. If he mixed the body shots in the rear as well. I feel like a lot of people really went to Imavov's body. And on top of that, even without people really not really targeting his body, he already has kind of somewhat questionable cardio. Not to say that he has bad cardio, but I feel like Adesanya has a better gas tank of the two. He has more experience, so that'd be smart. Dig some knees into his body, dig some teeth into his body, rip some hooks to his body. That'd be very smart. Stab with a jab, maybe send a 2 to his body, uppercut to his body. That'd be very smart. But Imavov seemingly has everything to gain here. Adesanya's kind of like just here. I know he's hungry and whatnot, or supposedly hungry. But Imavov, he has never had the belt. He's not the number 2 greatest middleweight fighter of all time. Imavov's trying to get to where you've been. He's younger. He's in his prime. He's trying to get there. You're out of your prime. You have, pretty much, for the most part, if I had to bet, you have reached your peak, the most you're going to accomplish. Not to say that you can't get back there, but you have had your best days, basically. Your best days are over. You're just trying to retrieve some of that glory, whereas Imavov's trying to get some glory. So he's hungrier, younger, going to mix it up more. Very close fight. But I think Imavov's going to win by being more aggressive and mixing the martial arts more, whereas Adesanya's primarily going to be striking. I feel like he might try to do 1 or 2 takedowns in there, but again, it's not going to be so much thought behind it. Like, oh, my part of my dog is here to set him up for a Darce, with this setup, or, lockdown half guard or something. Like, it's not going to be like a big approach. It might just be there to mix it up just to give a different look, but it's not going to be so much thought as to whereas Imavov's could be looking for submission. He could be looking to land effective ground and pound. Like Adesanya, he could get takedowns, but is he going to really land effective ground and pound? Is he really going to get effective control time, effective ground and pound from there? Not really. It's going to be something to give a different little look there, whereas Imavov is going to be effective look to be effective in those areas. Not use that area to set up effectiveness on your feet. Imavov going to be use that to set up effectiveness on the feet. Use up his striking to get effective on the ground, and then once he's on the ground, if he does get it there, he's going to look to advance. He's going to look to drop ground and pound. He's going to look to do damage. Look to get significant control time there. And yeah, close fight, but going to the younger, hungrier fighter who's going to mix it up more. So, in this one, I have So, in this one, I have Nasruddin Imavov via decision. And, let me go back now. Do all the predictions real quick. Real quick. Balaji Oki, first round TKO. Hamdi Abdelwahab via decision. Bogdan Grad via decision. Jasudavicus via decision. Mike Davis via decision. Terrence McKinney via first round submission. Shamil Gaziev via second round TKO. Muhammad Naimov via second round TKO. Syed Nurmagomedov via decision. Jarzino Rozenstruik via second round TKO. Shara Magomedov via decision. And in the main event, I have Nasruddin Imavov. It is what it is. I've been getting tongue-tied this whole video. I'm going to end this video getting tongue-tied, but yeah. And in the main event, I have Nasruddin Imavov defeating Israel Adesanya via decision. And yeah, that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Imavov. So again, that concludes my predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Adesanya versus Imavov. And yeah, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Get this video to 100 likes, and peace out.